Welcome. In this video, I want to go over units, what are units in physics, and what are the basics, and then how to convert units around. So the first thing we want to talk about is going to be the SI unit system. And this is going to be the System International of Units, and it's abbreviated SI. So our first unit is going to be a unit of distance. And the units of that are going to be in meters with the abbreviation of M. Our second is going to be that of time, units of second, abbreviation S. Then we have mass, unit of kilogram. Electrical current, unit of ampere, abbreviation of A. And then we have temperature and unit of Kelvin. That is Kelvin, abbreviation of K. So there are 5 basic units of the SI system. So if we know those, we're going to know everything. Well, not really, but that's where we're going to start. Okay, let's look at the prefixes. So next we want to look at, before we get into prefixes, let's do a couple of examples. Okay, unit of force in the SI system is going to be a Newton, abbreviated with the big N, and the units of force are going to be kilograms, meters, per second squared. Another common unit would be power, and that's going to be a unit of a watt, abbreviated with the big W, and that's going to be kilogram, meter squared, per second squared. So you can see we can use those 5 fundamental units to come up with a higher order of units such as force or power or 1,000 other things. So it's very handy. Now let's look at the prefixes, the powers of 10. Oh, that's a 10. Now we're going to start out with what is our multiple. Build a little table here. The prefix, and then the abbreviation. So first we're going to start out with 10 to the 6th. There's higher number like 10 to the 9th, 10 to the 12th. We're just going to worry about 10 to the 6th, and that's going to be mega, or million. And we're going to abbreviate that with an M. Or it could be a capital M, you'll see it both ways. 10 to the 3rd, kilo. Unit of K, or a multiplier of K. 10 to the minus 1, we're going to see some examples here in a minute. Deci, little d, 10 to the minus 2 centi, that's going to be a c, 10 to the minus 3 is going to be a milli, it's going to be an m, 10 to the minus 6th micro, mu, 10 to the minus 9th is going to be a nano, it's an n, and you can go smaller, just like you could go larger than mega. So now this becomes the metric system, with your unit of length being a meter. So that's what we're commonly used to seeing. Now there are other systems. This is the most commonly used. The British have come up with a system that is called the British Engineering System. So let's look at that briefly. And here the fundamental units are going to be force, which is going to be in the pound, the length, unit of foot, time is in second. You'll see this system used a lot in the British worlds, or the British countries, and the United States. It's not recommended. It's not as easy as the SI system. Simply for the fact you don't have your powers of 10. Like for instance, it takes 3 feet to make a yard, and then it takes 12 inches equals 1 foot, and then a mile is 5,280 feet. So there's no factors of 10 here, so try to stick with the SI system. It's so much easier. Now let's get into some units conversion. Things are not always going to come out in the correct unit we want. So we've got to be able to, when we get these quantities, say like a length, they've all got to be in the same units. In other words, it's hard to add feet plus inches plus centimeters plus meters. They all need to be in one unit. Maybe millimeters or centimeters or meters, whatever. So let's look at a quick example of this. So we have a car moving at a rate of 60 miles per hour. So we're in the English system here. And what we want to do is we want to find the distance traveled in 3 hours. So you've got a car going 60 miles an hour. How far does it go in 3 hours? So we know the basic relationship between distance is going to be represented by the x. That is the velocity times the time. That's equal velocity times the time. So if we want to put our numbers in here, we're going 60 miles per hour. Multiply that by 3 hours. So here our units cancel, and so we're going to be left with 60 times 3, or 180 miles. Now, if we want to convert that to feet, so how many feet is that? So we're going to have to do some units conversion. So we have 180 miles is equal to how many feet? So our conversion here, our conversion factor, is there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So if we have 180 miles, that's going to be equal to, if we want to convert it to feet, we need to multiply that by this conversion factor. So 180 miles times 5,280. Now we're going to put that on top. Let me erase that. $5,280 feet, 1 mile. So that's our conversion factor. The units cancel out. So now we're going to be left with sticking that in the calculator. 9.5 times 10 to the 5th. That's going to be in a unit of feet. Alright, so now we've converted this 180 miles into 9.5 times 10 to the 5th feet. So now let's do one more conversion here. So what we want to do now is, what is the equivalent of 60 miles per hour in feet per second? So we want to convert for 60 miles per hour. That's our rate that the car is traveling. We now want to convert it into feet per second. So let's start out with our 60 miles per hour. We multiply by our conversion factor, 5,280 feet per mile. That's going to get rid of our miles. So now we're feet per hour. Now, we know that 1 hour is going to be equal to 60 minutes. So our hours cancel out here. So now we're in feet per minute, but we want to go feet per second. So we know that there is going to be, in 1 minute, we've got 60 seconds. So the minutes cancel out now, and we're just left with seconds on the denominator and feet. So now we just need to multiply 5,280 times 60 divided by 60. Well, that's 60 cancels there. So that 60 cancels there. It's making our math a little bit easier. Doing the math, it comes out to 88 feet per second. So 88 feet per second is the equivalent of 60 miles per hour. Alright, that's the end of this lecture. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.